أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين أما بعد. Allah SWT advises us in His glorious book, and I picked a couple of verses from Surah Taha. That's chapter 20, verses 17 and 18. Allah says, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى قَالَ هِيَ عَصَايَ أَتَوَكَّأُ عَلَيْهَا وَأَهُشُّ بِهَا عَلَى غَنَمِي وَلِيَ فِيهَا مَآرِبُ أُخْرَى. This verse tells the story about when Moses عليه الصلاة والسلام وعلى نبينا أفضل الصلاة والسلام, he went to meet his Lord and Allah talked to him. So one of the questions that Allah said, what is that in your right hand, O Moses? Moses said, it is my staff. I lean upon it, I bring down leaves for my sheep, and I have other uses for it. So the Quran gives us many lessons, many practical lessons in Tawheed, in monotheism, in ways that we can comprehend, through a story, through, similar things. So in this case, when Allah asked Moses, what is that in your right hand? Allah knew very well what it was. Moses thought he knew what it was. He thought it was a stick. I've been using it for many years. I do everything, with it. He thought he knew it. But Allah wanted to teach him and teach us a lesson in Tawheed, in monotheism. Allah says, O Moses, this staff that you are very familiar with, I'm going to change it into a huge snake. And how big it was, I don't know how big it was, but Moses, when he saw it, he ran away. That's how afraid he was from it. So this was a miracle from Allah that says, this staff that you're very familiar with, I'm going to change it into something else, into a big serpent. So Moses ran away the first time he saw it. And later on, when Moses confronted the magicians, so this is a trick, this is magic. We can counter your magic with our own. So the magicians came in and they had sticks and ropes and made it look like they were snakes. So, and Allah says later on in the surah, at the beginning of verse 69, وَأَلْقِ مَا فِي يَمِينِكَ تَلْقَفْ مَا صَنَعُوا, and throw what is in your right hand, it will swallow up what they have crafted. So what Moses threw, when he threw his staff, it turned into a huge snake, but it was more than a snake. Allah's miracle made it eat all of the ropes and sticks and all of the trickery that the magicians were using to fool the people. Now, a normal snake does not eat sticks and ropes. This was no ordinary snake. This was a miracle from Allah. That's why when the magicians saw it, they believed immediately and bowed, because they knew no human being can do this. This came from a divine source. So the miracle was complete and it was clear as day for all to see. Now the main point I wanna raise today is this part, وَأَلْقِ مَا فِي يَمِينِكَ, and throw what is in your right hand. When Allah instructed Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam to throw his stick so it turns into a snake and eats, he said, the scholars of Tawheed, they point to a very precise fact, that nothing can have a reality unless Allah allows it. Allah did not say, throw your staff. He said, throw whatever's in your right hand. What was in his right hand? Was it a staff? Was it a snake? It was whatever Allah wanted it to be. That's why Allah did not say, throw your staff. He said, throw whatever is in your right hand. I will turn it into whatever I want. So it is whatever Allah wanted to be. And this is the lesson for us in Tawheed, that everything you see around you, the people you fear, the things that you fear, they're all in Allah's hands. Nothing moves in this creation without Allah's permission and will. Later on, when this same staff, Allah, when they were running away from Pharaoh and his fearing for their lives, Allah says, hit the sea with your staff, and the sea opened up and they crossed. So once they crossed, they saw Pharaoh and his troops running after them, and Moses started hitting the sea with his staff, but nothing was happening. Well, because his staff had no power. Allah just made them use it because the human brain cannot accept something out of nothing. The law of causality is when you see something move, okay, the wind moved it. Nothing moves without reason. That's our brain cannot comprehend something happening without something causing it to happen. So this staff had no power. It was all Allah's power. So Allah says, leave the sea alone. I have other plans. Just go. And then the sea folded on Pharaoh and his troops and killed all of them. So Allah helps us understand with His miracle, that everything is in His control. So if you want to take Islam, if you want to take religion, at the heart of it is two main principles. It's Tawheed and Ibadah. It's monotheism, recognizing there's only one power in this creation, and acts of worship. And things, obedience to Allah. So nothing happens without Allah's knowledge and permission. The snake cannot bite without Allah permitting it to. The knife cannot cut. When the knife cuts, when you go and you're making a salad and you cut something with a knife, the knife in itself has no power to cut. Allah allows it to cut. Because when Allah ordered His beloved Prophet Ibrahim to slaughter his son, the knife would not work. Because Allah did not permit it to. So the knife does not have a power on its own. Everything comes from Allah. The fire cannot burn except when Allah allows it to. Viruses cannot infect you unless Allah allows them to. He allows them to reach you. If He does not want the virus to get to you, you can be in a vat of viruses and you will not get sick, because everything is in Allah's hands. So no one is in control other than Allah Ta'ala, which makes it very simple for a believer. You have only one entity to please. You don't have to please people that are so temperamental. You have one beautiful, competent God that gave you a very simple way of dealing with Him. You do this, this happens. You do this, this happens. You obey me, I will protect you. Very simple things. If you read the Quran, it's all the directions on how to be safe and how to act. So Tawheed, when you fully understand monotheism, Tawheed, when you really understand it, you feel so safe, because nothing happens without Allah allowing it. And if He allowed it, you either did something wrong to deserve the correction, or Allah is benefiting you and raising your status. So you thank Allah no matter what happens. And that's where it comes from. When you go back and look at the Sahaba alayhim salatu wassalam, how they acted, sometimes to us it appears strange. You're gonna be executed and you're just calm, and whatever Allah wants. That's where it comes from, because they truly understand the principle of Tawheed, of monotheism. That if you truly understand it, then if Allah is with you, will you fear anything? Is there anything you would fear if Allah is protecting you? No. So a believer is fearless. He does his part, he relies on Allah, and then let whatever happens, because it is for your own good. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم.